Hey, welcome to Gracie Schwarzwald. I'm here with Erkan Mete, and we're continuing on with our complete Gracie Self-Defense Course, and we're working on the clinches. Pretty much all the clinches we've covered have been no-gi clinches, collar ties, body locks, all of these things. Again, because from a mostly self-defense perspective, that's what we're going to be looking for, is we want to be in that really tight place to smother punches. I don't want to be so much out here. But again, when he has clothing, it does give me an option to control him. Okay, so we need to know the different grips that we can use, whether standing or on the ground. So we're going to cover some of those. Just right now, we're going to do standing, just upper body gi controls. Okay, so let's cover some of the various ways that we can do this. Again, this is just more for understanding the controls, rather than I'm not necessarily going to be out here wanting to control you like this in a fight. Okay, but it is important to understand. So we can control the arms or the head. Okay, you see it traditionally, like in no-gi, he might control the back of my head, and then I control the back of his head. We control the arms, however it is here. You'll notice traditional gi, he holds my collar, I hold. It's the same exact thing, right? I'm controlling the head here, but this also controls the head. Okay, so let's talk about, first we'll start kind of the things closest to me, is I can control the ends of the sleeves. Okay, now there's a couple different grips we're going to use. That's what some people call the hook grip or cat's paw grip, where I fold the gi inside my fingers, my 4 fingers, and I make a hook here. Couple really important things I want to talk about with this is, before we get started, is don't put your fingers inside the sleeves, your thumbs or your fingers. If you compete, this will be, you'll get, often the ref will stop the match. Maybe you just got a sweep, he'll reset you because you had fingers inside the sleeves. But, we're not that concerned about the tournaments. It's important to know, but the reason we do it here is because if I hold like this and he starts moving his hands around, my fingers can get caught and broken. I can't get my hands out. Okay, so I want to make sure to grab from the outside so that if he starts moving his hands around, I can let go at any time if I want. Okay, so the strength of this grip is that I can push a lot with this grip. Okay, now one thing that happens is people will make a death grip with this, and they'll be just, I want to control your arm, pull your arm away, and they'll hurt their fingers. Okay, so this is something my friend Jack Jitsu taught me, which is really good. The whole point when I do this is just to stay connected. So if he rips his arm away and I stay tense, here. But if he rips his arm away, I just go with it, as long as I have that connection. And then when I need to control and move it somewhere, I will. Okay, so now from here, we can do double sleeves. Okay, very common. There's a lot of attacks we can do from this double sleeve, right? So that's a single sleeve, double sleeve. Now there's 2 grips I talked about. There's the hook grip or cat's paw grip, but we're also going to have what I call the pistol grip or joystick grip. I'll often take my thumb. I know I'm not supposed to stick it in here, I just said, but I'll do it for just a quick second and then grip like this. Okay, I use this grip a lot simply because I have the finger strength of a 4-year-old. Okay, so I tend to like this grip. It's a little easier for me. This is easier kind of to get out of, but I also feel like I have more pulling power with it sometimes. And it's easier for me to get. Okay, and I'm not so locked into grips. If somebody really wants that grip free, I let it go. This is why I'm an older guy, but you don't see tape on my fingers and my fingers all mangled. Okay, so again, I could do both here. There's a lot of attacks I can use from here. So it's our basic end of sleeve grips. Now we also have tricep grip. Okay, this is really powerful. I don't tend to like end of sleeve grips as much as every jiu-jitsu person in the world now does, simply because my jiu-jitsu is based on
self-defense
and control of pressure, right? When I do this, I'm not really moving you around, am I? Mm-hmm. Right? If I come here, I can move you around. Mm-hmm. If I come here, I can move you around. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I tend to like that because I like to be really close where I can control people. But, so the difference here is when I control above the elbow, I can actually manipulate his shoulder and the rest of his body much more. So how are we going to do it? We're going to find the end of the seam on his gi. I'm going to grab with these bottom 3 fingers. I'm going to make a hook here. Now I'm going to tend to keep my fingers open, these 2 fingers, this way. Okay, I don't need to make a tight fist. You're going to end up fatiguing your hand doing this. Okay, these are your 3 strong fingers. Once you start using your pointer finger and squeezing, you're going to fatigue your arm. It's not a very powerful grip. Also, when I make a fist like this, I don't really have a lot of mobility in my hand, but when I keep it open, I have a lot more movement in my hand. So I'm going to make this grip here, here. And I can take the slack out by rolling my hand like I'm trying to look at my watch. Okay, here. Now I have a lot of control. So I'll see people try to do throws by holding the end of the sleeves. And again, a good judo guy absolutely can do this. But my problem sometimes is this, is they're so far away. I'm not really off balancing you. I move my arm this far, but I haven't really moved you at all, right? Whereas if I'm here and I pull, I can really pull you off balance, okay? So you can play here, double sleeves. Obviously, we're going to move all around to these different positions. Now we're going to talk about the collars. So with the collar, I can grab thumb in on the same side. Often standing, I like this. I won't do this as much standing simply because if he turns his body, he's kind of working into this position. Okay, so often when people who only do groundwork do standing, they'll grab across. It's very easy for me to get into a 2-on-1 with them. So we're here. Me personally, and you can float up and down. One thing I tell people is try not to grab here because now the whole point of this grip is what? I control your posture, right? If I'm here, it doesn't do anything, okay? So I don't like to go super high. So our first hand position, I like to take right between my 2 middle knuckles and put it on his collarbone. So I'll find right there. Now, try not to just get the grip you can. Often we'll come with our cross hand and put it in our hand. That way I know a good grip, right? You'll see this much later on the ground when we're working chokes. I often feed to the holding hand, okay? So when I go, I want to put the flat of the gi, we'll cover this much more in the submission section, the flat of the gi in my palm and close. I don't want to grab on the skinny part because if you pull away now, there's no way I can hold on to that. It's just going to slide right out. So I want to put the flat in my hand. And then I like to put my knuckles right there. The reason being for me is I can use it to push him away and I can use it to pull. Okay, so I have both. I can also kind of put it in his neck. So this is one of our main positions. Now, I can absolutely cross grip, same thing, open, hand in. I just tend to keep my elbow a little bit open so he can't come around the side. This is good because I can push into his neck this way. And there are times where I can really dominate one side. So like when I do a Taitoshi, I really like to have on the same side because I can really rotate him a little bit more. So some people will do, I think Shohei Ono does double collar grips for a lot of his throws because I can really pull you around. Okay, so that's our collar control, sort of from the front. There's another grip, collar, I'm going to go thumb in, but I'm going to go behind here. This is a really dominant hold. This is very much like this, single collar tie. It's very much, I think Hodger Gracie was really fond of this. He comes in, he gets this, elbow down, because now I can use the elbow to really block him. There's a lot of power with this positioning. Okay, so that's, we have the front grip, and then we can slide deeper behind here. Now we have what I think some people sometimes call a monster grip. Let me have you turn this way, where instead of going the collar, you're going to come all the way over and get in the middle of the back. Okay, the advantage here is I can really pull and lift him. Okay, so if I'm here, lifting is not as easy if I'm here and I can really off balance him. So that's a lot of people will really look for that, especially taller people. They want to kind of snap you and get this, okay? Because now it's harder for you to get your posture back, right? And then the last couple grips we'll go over are the belt grips, okay? So just as I broke him down and grab this, I can also break him down and get the belt, okay? Judo rules have certain rules, like I can't hold the belt for more than a few seconds. I can't hold at the end of the sleeves for more than a few seconds, I think. Different rules. The good thing about Jiu-Jitsu and, of course, self-defense is don't care, right? So If I can get the belt here, there's a tremendous amount of lifting potential. I tend not to use belts as much because I don't know that they'll be there, and also they can slide if it's loose. But if it's a nice tight belt and I can get hold of it, you will have tremendous amount of control of the person. So we're on the same side, reaching over, grabbing the belt. Then there is the Georgian Grip, where I pull him down and I go on the same side as I am. So not across his head, but here. And I hold the belt. Okay, this is a really incredibly powerful position. There's a lot of takedowns you'll see from this position. And often, even in our self-defense, we'll get to this position because if he tries to tackle me, it may end up, I'm here in this position. Maybe I can't get the guillotine, but I'm right in this position to set up certain attacks. Okay. Lastly, much rarer, but I can hold the belt from the front. Okay, so I can use this to start to set up different throws, push and pull. Okay, so from a self-defense standpoint, right? I don't like my students to be grabbing clothing from a simple situation of, if you're choking me, I don't know that you'll have a sleeve that I can hold on to, right? And if I'm teaching myself to go reaching for sleeves and they're not there, it's like I see people, I've trained with people who go, you know, I don't know what to do no-gi. I don't have grips. And I'm like, you're a purple belt and you don't know what to do without the grips. Okay, there's a whole, that's some bad training. It shouldn't matter. But from a self-defense perspective, if I grab you, I pin you to the wall, he doesn't want to be looking for sleeves and things because they might not be there. Also, they'll move around. He wants to get in the habit of controlling the limbs of me. Okay, but again, if we get to a situation where they have the clothing and we know how to use it, it can give us a tremendous amount of control. So those are some of our sort of fundamental grips standing that you can use if you're playing from more of that range or you just need to understand how to hold these things.